A 2019 study found that 40% of cancer patients that are taking immunotherapy were also taking probiotics. And we know that probiotics have been explored in common cold prevention and digestive upset and shown some benefits in research. But the question I want to answer today is, how effective are probiotics in the context of cancer, and specifically in people taking immunotherapy? I'm Dr. Baker, a naturopath at Simcoe Naturopathic, and today I'm going to talk about probiotics and why they might actually not be such a great idea alongside immunotherapy. At the end, I'll mention some alternatives that research has explored. So keep in mind that immunotherapy includes drugs that are used to stimulate the immune system to kill cancer cells. So that includes drugs like Keytruda, also known as pembrolizumab, and Opdivo, also known as nivolumab. First off, in general, yes, there are a number of studies that have showed positive results with using probiotics in cancer. But when we look for studies in immunotherapy patients, we find just one, and that was published in 2019 by the American Association for Cancer Research. Surprisingly, they found that patients using probiotics were 70% less likely to have a positive response to their immunotherapy. In other words, people taking immunotherapy by itself had better results. Now, this is somewhat unexpected because studies have shown us that patients with a more favorable probiotic profile tend to respond better to their immunotherapy, specifically a profile with higher diversity of bacteria in the gut. And you would think that adding more probiotics would increase the diversity. However, this study found that people using probiotics actually had a lower diversity, not a higher diversity. In fact, there are a number of studies that also have supported this finding, that probiotics don't seem to affect the composition of bacteria, at least in terms of bacterial diversity. I guess this kind of makes sense. If we think about probiotic supplements, there tends to only be a handful of different types of bacteria in them. Versus in our gut, studies have actually found 300 to 500 different types of bacteria. However, there may be another way we can impact the bacteria in the gut, and that's with prebiotics. These are basically fibers such as flaxseed, psyllium, and chia that can be fermented by bacteria in the gut. In fact, their study also found that patients on a high fiber diet had a 5 times higher chance of responding positively to their immunotherapy. Now, by scientific standards, this is a very small study, and scientists use something called a confidence interval. And their interval tells us that we shouldn't be too confident about the accuracy of their finding. So further information would be needed to draw any strong conclusions. It's important to keep in mind that the state of the immune system plays a very large role on how effective immunotherapy is. You need to be cautious when adding any other supplements that can also impact the immune system and possibly interact with immunotherapy. Even fiber can affect the absorption of medications and has its own set of side effects. So before you consider any natural health product, you really should speak with a health professional. Thanks for watching, and if you want to learn more about these topics, feel free to subscribe.